I remember when that first Geraldine Fibbers record was out at the store. We had like, it was one of those records that people either loved or hated.
Right.
I was not in the love it category. Right. And I remember driving down the road listening to KPFT and hearing a song go, oh my God, this song's great. And it was Geraldine Fibbers, and I had to eat my words.
You had to go back. Yeah, you had to go back. Yeah.
I love it. That's out of context there. Okay, so for there's a whole batch of stuff that was just produced in Europe that Universal released in the States, surprise release, including some colored vinyl editions, and you have one of Bob Marley's best, the Kaya record, and this is on a green vinyl, I believe, made in the Netherlands. You know, with production shortage and everything, you've got records flying in from all over the world to try to make it to stores, and this one has "Sun Is Shining" on it, "Easy Skanking." Classic record, and if you're looking for some different Christmas gift, color vinyl, people were really impressed by that.
And we lost Robbie Shakespeare last week.
Sure. That's a big one. That's a big
Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare.
Yeah, one of the greatest production teams.
Recorded early on with Bob, and so
I don't think you can show the back of that cover.
I don't think you can either, but we're definitely he will be missed, and obviously with his work with the Black Lagoon was incredible. Yeah, and Sun Is Shining, though. I love the Finley Quay cover.
Oh yeah, that's a song like people like cover.
Don't know.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Yeah.
Another color vinyl edition that just dropped. So this is Roxy Music, Flesh and Blood, and this was the drop-in record for me. This is the record. I know the earlier records, records with Eno and more. Greater in stature, but this is the record where I first heard him, and the title track, Flesh and Blood, I heard that, and it's a little bit disco-y in places, or 80s, but I love this record, and now it's available as with this super thick tip-on sleeve on a limited edition red vinyl. Cover's great.
You're going super deep music nerd when there's serious discussion about the packaging.
Yeah,
that's the best. You don't get that on other streams. You only get that here on the drop. Since we have Roxy Music, and this is in my hand, and I think it's the latest, the most recent effort by the War on Drugs. But there's at least one song on there, and the singer has there's a little bit of that Bob Dylan just hint to his voice, but the whole song just sounds like Roxy Music to me.
Oh no, there's a lot of
and and
the guitar playing is very inspired by Phil Manzanera.
Yes, and then at the end there's little synth, just like so
that
cool.
Definitely an influence on the band.
But this is an amazing.
And Phil Manzanera is the Steve Cropper of prog music.
Absolutely,
so understated,
absolutely,
so tasteful.
Absolutely.
Okay, another colored vinyl edition that again I don't know that people even know that this is out. They snuck this one out. The 50th anniversary limited edition repress of John Lennon's Imagine. This is a 2 LP set that includes the undubbed demos, or just like live in the studio, which is revelatory and essential. You can't always say that about bonus tracks, but that is, and it's a white vinyl.
What's that you say?
It's a pretty solid sleep face.
Trouble hearing you. Yeah, this is amazing. So, sorry, I'm just determined to derail us today.
Hey, that's all right.
So they were on Volume. They were talking about. I did not know that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame had an annex. There's an annex, and it's in New York City.
Okay.
I think it's like in Soho or the Village or whatever. And Nick Carter was talking about going down there. And the first time he walked in, he goes, one of the first things you see is Lennon's piano that he wrote Imagine on.
Oh, I have heard that. That is great.
And he's like, it's one of those things you're like, that's it. It's right there in front of me.
Yeah, and
pretty cool.
they have to. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame really has to work hard because so much of the stuff now is in private collections. People are buying it and put it in their house.
They just paid how much for that? One of the Wings era basses that McCartney played. Just I think went for like $250,000.
I mean, it's the new fine art.
And it wasn't even the Rickenbacker. I think it was like his backup. It was like he had an Ibanez that he played apparently on tour with them. That I've never seen a photo of him playing an Ibanez, but.
Yeah,
imagine what the Rick would go for.
Is it one? It's one of those brown. I know he played a Yamaha.
Maybe it was the Yamaha. Maybe it was the Yamaha.
The brown Yamaha end of Wings.
You're right. It was
like
the Yamaha.
when he got busted in Japan.
Yeah, it was the Yamaha.
Hey,
you're right. You're right.
Going to Japan.
Yeah, I don't think the Rick's for sale. That's in this house. So my hair is jacked up today, and I apologize for that. I had a Santa hat on all morning long. I'm terribly sorry. Please continue.
Next up, we have we got going. Oh, So here's another anniversary issue. We talked about the CD earlier, but the vinyl is finally out, and people have been looking for this. Her vinyl edition sell really well. This is the Lady Gaga Born This Way 10th anniversary. Hard to believe this came out in 2011. But you have a bonus LP that has all remixes, and Kylie Minogue's on there, Orville Peck, Ben Platt. Interesting piece, but people have been waiting on the LP of that, and that's why we're featuring that today.
It's a cool cover.
Yeah.
Love that. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when that cover came out. I was like, whoa, what is going on here? Another drop-in from the Universal Music Group. David Bowie's early recordings, his first record for the Durham label.
Look at that.
On a picture disc. So, and that makes a great slate face, too, I would bet.
That's a beauty.
Little Dave.
What year was this? Did you say that already?
I'd say it's 69, maybe 68.
Yeah,
it's early.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
I mean, he had singles on the Pie label, and then his recordings on Durham.
That's incredible.
Okay, reissue, and this is another artist who is totally underserved by the major content holders with regards to vinyl being available. I think this is the first Shakira piece. For a multi-platinum artist who's a cultural icon, it is amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
This is it. You want to buy a record from it? This is it.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's more of that coming. The Laundry Service, her epic monster record, finally available.
I was covering the Super Bowl. I was in Miami covering the Super Bowl, and that was the J-Lo Shakira halftime. The roar of the crowd was like, you never heard anything like that when they hit the stage. It was crazy.
I mean, I would have roared too.
That's true.
Good.
Yeah.
Good
I was working. I didn't get a chance to watch too much of it, but it was cool. Alice says, love that Lady Gaga album. Well, maybe Santa might be. You never know.
Gaga. Santa could go Gaga.
Santa could go Gaga.
All right, we're going to take a left turn. We're going to go down Jazz Street here to talk about some reissues. I think this is a really interesting record. This is a reissue, The Prophetic Herbie Nichols, and you might be asking why this record is called The Prophetic Herbie Nichols, because he issued, back before LPs were the rage, there were some 10 inches, and Blue Note issued a lot of 10 inches.
Right.
Some of them fell flat. Back in the day, his recordings weren't really well regarded.
Right. But
as time has moved on, his composition style has been hailed as genius. And so this collects all the 10-inch records in one LP.
Sorry to say, I don't know much about Herbie Nichols at all.
Most don't. I mean, that is a deep down in it, in the shag carpeting of jazz.
Sure. Al McKibben on bass, Art Blakey on drums.
But that's the beauty of it. This
stuff
kind of ramps back up.
That's the beauty of something, just finding something like this. Beautiful.
And then we got a Kenny Cox record, and so this record gets reissued every few years. This is a regarded as one of the better hard bop records, produced by Duke Pearson. Not really. You never see it listed on a bunch of lists, but it always sells well when it comes out because it's when it gets reissued.
Beautiful.
It's not readily available. Yeah.
So real quick here, your pal from high school, Jeff Hines, says, "Let's see some blues." We don't, we go with what they give us.
We're gonna perfect time because we are gonna get a little bit busy. Still, Jeff. We're gonna talk about two.
Hit the share button.
We're gonna talk about two of the greatest Hammond B3 players.
Oh, perfect.
And you can't mention Hammond B3 without mentioning Jimmy Smith. And this is his epic record, Home Cookin'.
Yes, sir.
It is regarded as one of his finest works. And,
yes, sir.
The cover is as good as the music on this one.
Kenny Burrell on guitar, too. So
that's what makes it different is you got Kenny Burrell on there.
That's beautiful.
And for people that know Kenny Burrell.
So apparently beautiful is my word for the day. That's just coming out of my mouth every day. I apologize for that.
And so Jimmy Smith is a master. If you even think you like the B3, buy Jimmy Smith records. I mean, you got to have at least a couple of them. They're great.
Today it's going to be expensive.
And then next up, another master of the B3, Dr. Lonnie Smith, who passed away in September. I believe he was 79. This is from a run of shows he did for his 75th birthday, and Blue Note issued it on his passing. He really did so much to popularize the instrument, and he had a really big fan that you wouldn't expect was a fan of his work. And
Yeah.
who was that, Ruben?
Go ahead. That would be Mr. Iggy Pop.
Who knew?
Featured on one of the tracks here. That's just nuts. And these are all live. No, he's on 2 tracks. He's on the Why Can't We Live Together, which opens the record, and he closes the record with Move Your Hand. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
that is just.
And if you're not familiar with the sound of the B3, it's the technology of it. It's got this rotating Leslie speaker that propels the sound.
A lot of people
around
know
you.
it as like that church organ sound,
Absolutely.
that real Southern gospel kind of sound.
And he had a bunch of musicians that grew up in the church playing that instrument. They were like, this goes way beyond.
And that's where all the so many great players came out of that.
Yep.
Out of that.
All right, so I hope that was bluesy enough.
Thank you. All right, here we go.
Okay, back in the rock, we have a Les Claypool.
Yes, sir.
This is 2 LP on golden colored vinyl. I kind of want to see it. I don't know what that's going to.
It's and Les is it's a duo. Who's his partner in crime on this one?
I don't know. And this is a
duo to twang,
I think, but it has not been available.
Yeah, I remember when they did this, but who's his?
Maybe that's a question for the studio audience.
The studio audience, yeah. Oh, okay, I get it. So there's some Primus stuff on here.
So.
Cover of the classic Alice in Chains, "Man in the Box."
And also, there's another one there that people might know.
"Staying Alive" by the Fishes.
You want to hear some? I could use some funky bass on "Staying Alive" right there.
Funky bass.
So we talked about this series before. Austin's Levitation Fest, the great psychedelic music festival.
Yeah.
They're releasing records from those sessions where they can. And this is Fuzz. Fuzz reunited for a show at Levitation. And I'm not sure the year. I think it says the year on there. But for people who don't know, that's Ty Segal's band. It's kind of a hard psychedelic, hard rock band. Super cool. And they were all the rave that year that they played. And you can pick up an LP of that.
Much cooler than I'll ever be. Forget it.
Well, he's been working on it a long time.
He has been working on it. Yeah, all I do is sit in the chair.
Okay, we're going to keep the live albums the focus here. And I don't know if we talked about this band. You hip to this band, Behemoth?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured as much.
Yes.
So Behemoth are they Norwegian?
They're from the Scandinavian countries.
There we go.
Of course, famous for the whole corpse paint kind of,
extreme black metal.
Yeah. Good stuff. You just want to make people around you uncomfortable. Just blast this. Yeah, but in the best possible way. While I love all this stuff, I don't actually own any of it.
Yeah.
But it's like if it's on,
sure.
I'm just going to turn that up. Like I'll go through liquid metal every now and then, and it's like just like punishing.
I can't leave. I always got to know what's going on.
Yeah. Because you need to know you just need to know what's happening,
and you don't know what's coming next.
No, you don't.
For sure.
You don't.
So this is a triple LP set live show from I think last or right before the pandemic.
Come on, it's on Metal Blade. It's got to be.
It's on Metal Blade.
It's got to be.
Hallmark of
quality. Little metal for you guys.
What's next? Oh, here we go. There is a sequel to the last one that he did. There's a brand new Nas record, and this one features a lot of guests: EPMD, Eminem, Lauryn Hill. So it's a hip hop record.
Pretty much.
Because you got to have a bunch of people on a hip hop record.
Yeah, you do.
He's great. He's had a string of highly acclaimed records, and his later works have been really well received. So this one just is dropping tomorrow.
This is one of those guys that, unless there's some rapper that had beef with him for whatever reason, you never hear anybody say a bad word about this dude. This dude is consistent. The catalog speaks for itself.
And I think a lot of that, his dad was a lifelong musician, Olu Dara, cornet player.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a great musician and involved in the New York music scene for years. So
makes sense.
I always think if your parents
makes
are a musician
sense.
And
makes sense.
That work ethic, and especially within jazz, and I think he did some theater work too. It's work, and that's definitely
man. And like Lauryn Hill's not going to show up to like be on anybody's album.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay. The little bitty record with Greg Big Hole.
That's getting a lot of buzz.
Brand new Eddie Vedder track. Now he dropped a 7-inch about 3 months ago, which we still have in stock. This one might be a little more limited. We didn't get as many of them, but always great to hear new music from that guy. One of the singular voices of that era.
The master of the Jarl.
The Jarl, yeah, and fellow Cubs fan. So we got to give him props.
Shout out, respect.
Indeed.
How are you a Cubs fan? Did you grow up in Chicago?
My wife's from. So here's the thing, and like a lot of people that were big baseball fans at the dawn of cable TV,
WGN, right?
And they always played during the day.
Yeah.
So if you're a kid and you're home during the day and you love baseball,
yeah,
you can always watch a Cubs game.
Done.
And that kind of set the hook. And I always, the stadium looks so cool and TV. I got to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it didn't work with the Braves,
right?
But it worked with the Cubs. And my wife is from Chicago, so
there you go.
And they're all Cubs fans. So. So that's what I got.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it. All right.
And now that the Astros, they're not in the same division, I got to, Astros are my American League fan team, and
this is the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I didn't like it at the beginning, but now I'm cool with it.
I'm cool with it too.
Okay, we're gonna move on to some deluxe reissues. The band's fourth album, Cahoots, is finally out. Now, this is a record that the merits of it have been argued for years. Some people love it, some people think it's not as great. They did take some time off. That was their last album of original material for another 3 years after that. But I think it's a solid record. It's getting the reissue treatment, and notably, we're holding the LP here, but the CD has an unreleased concert in it as a bonus disc. There's also a box set that has audio file, non-compressed files on it, as well as more bonus material. But worth a mention. One of the most, if you don't love them, they're certainly one of the most influential bands. If you like any kind of Americana music,
absolutely, yeah.
And harmony singing is so weird. There's so much to talk
do yourself a favor.
Okay, and another. This
cool
one is
stuff in there.
Yeah, man. What's this?
Oh,
I think some of this stuff was scheduled earlier, and it's finally coming.
Yeah.
So,
supply chain issues.
Yeah, there you go. So this is an extensive 6-disc set of Frank Zappa's 200 Motels film.
My God, this is two hands on this.
This is a great. I only ever saw this film once.
I've never seen it.
It didn't make any sense.
No, and that's what I've heard. So I didn't make me want to see it.
But it's Flo and Eddie's on it. It's just a bunch of guests. It's just craziness in there. I guess there was just tons of stuff recorded for it. Obviously, working with his archives, we have that coming out with tons of bonus material.
Yeah, Zappa fan on your Christmas list. Look no further.
And that's also a lot of the stuff that we show that are big boxes. They're also available in more simple packages.
Right.
If you just want to hear the original album or a little bit of bonus stuff. I'm very excited about this one, and again, a lot of his records mostly due to capacity for manufacturers. It's not even supply chain issues. Like they can't make all the records that they can sell. So there are sadly very few Sly Stone records available. This record is getting a timely reissue because this is There's a Riot Going On is his really considered to be one of the great social protest records of the era. Yep. And man, it is awesome. Yep. One of the greatest funk and soul bands ever. And this artist at the peak of his powers. Gotta hear it. It's so good. Family Affairs on there, tracks you might know. There's a Riot Going On. It's a cool record that tells a story. And it's on limited edition, red vinyl.
Red vinyl.
Back in the reissue game.
Oh my goodness.
So we haven't talked about this before.
We have not.
There is, it's all about the Beatles this Christmas with Let It Be and all this format.
Yeah.
And this is the book that is the companion piece to the
Peter Jackson documentary series.
Yeah,
that's on Disney Plus right now.
The documentary is mostly just told in footage. So this is essays. This is actually info. If you really want to know kind of what's going on behind the scenes, I know that he gives you little peeks of it.
Right.
And now that this book
goes deeper,
goes way deeper. Yeah, a great fan. I think a lot of people have seen it. They're trying to figure it. And then a lot of them have the Let It Be music over and over. This is something that if you're a Beatles fan, you can give that to me.
Man, this is just. it's the Beatles, but I don't know that anybody could anticipate the level of discussion that it's triggered in the media, podcast, social, online. Daily. You can just flip through. you know, at some point, the guys on Sports Talk will probably still mention this
I
afternoon.
I heard them talking about it.
You know, and it's just so. I mean, I don't.
And I will say this: they do a great job of, you know, Apple Core, the Beatles themselves do a great job of every decade doing a project that engages younger listeners and pulls them in to
this
it.
is true.
And gets all of us
old
guys that love the Beatles
this
back
is true.
into it.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went back and listened to all of Let It Be the other day, and because I told you the story, it was the first Beatle albums that I got. Yeah. So to me, it's the greatest Beatles album.
Yeah.
Because I got it when I was 10.
And it's a raw nerve. That record is
when I was
intense.
10 years old, and I just listened to it and listened to it and listened to it and listened to it.
I read a thing years ago that said, and I think this is true, that is the record that makes the most sense to like the punk rock era guys, because it's a really raw record.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like it was recorded just in a living room, you know, and they're all the
minimum production.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it's time.
Yes, it is.
Let's finish this thing up. Let's talk about staff picks.
Oh.
And we have some good ones here.
The staff is amazing here, by the way, in case you guys don't know.
They know music, and what I love about them is they pick stuff that is unusual, and they also pick stuff that is like makes a case for something that's big and popular that you need to spend time with.
Please do.
And the first up, Robert picks.
Yes.
Casey Musgraves.
100%. 100%. There are a couple of tracks on here that I'm like, but she really sets the hook on a couple of these.
So Robert says it's noteworthy because it's a breakup album, obviously.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah.
And he knows too. We were talking about the story that it's production. You know, the last record was such a watershed moment where we're kind of breaking away from the old country sound. Yeah. And this one it's hard at times to not think that it's continues that maybe it's a little bit lesser because it's more of that sound. But then when you spend some time with it, like Robert was saying, it's great, and you connect with it, and the lyrics are really terrific.
Could not agree more. I love it.
And he comments too that so she sings in Spanish.
Yes.
On a bit of it. And it's fantastic.
Gracias a la vida.
Maybe we'll get a Spanish record from her at some point. That would be monstrously huge.
I'm telling you, I love this.
And we've talked about this band before on the drop, but Robert picks us. He says this is the metal band of the year. You know, it's more melodic, but this new Gojira record is
Gojira.
Yeah.
Gojira. So you know, you need some French metal.
I do.
In
you
your
need
life.
French metal. Kind of the French fries go with the French metal.
You know what Gojira is, right?
I do know.
Godzilla.
Oh, I like him even more.
Yeah.
Gojira. Oh, right on. Yeah. He says, you know, Robert says it's still heavy, but this is the record that like solidifies them as a major.
They're an amazing band, and I would say if you don't like metal, this might be a good band to like, but you're curious.
And it's so easy to check out.
This is a good one to check out. Yeah. Because it's there's something to some of their music that's inviting before they hit you with the sledgehammer.
Well, that's it.
And it's done really well. It's done really well.
So two picks that we agree with.
Yeah.
They're important records for this year.
Yes. Oh boy.
And this is one that we have talked. Actually, we're skipping.
We are skipping.
CD.
Okay.
This is one of my picks for the year.
Yes.
Not available in America.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
This is the latest Paul Weller record, Fat Pop. And
there is video of some of the performances in London all over the place on YouTube.
And there's a live in the studio thing on the BBC where they do tracks from this record at Noel Gallagher's house. And,
really?
They're terrific. And the cool thing is, if you see that, you know, Noel Gallagher owns the Magical Mystery Tour drum kit. So Paul's drummer's playing Ringo's kit from Magical Mystery Tour.
Get out of town.
And this has one of my very favorite songs of the year, which is Shades of Blue.
Okay.
Check that out.
Yeah,
it's great.
I need to check that out.
All his records are different. They're all great. This is the rare Pandemic record that is a rock record that's a fully realized record because, you know, he owns his own studio in the middle of the country and everybody quarantined, and his band went and made a record in the middle of this whole thing. And it's terrific.
And the band's super
really
tight
good.
too. It's got a great band. It's got a great band.
Okay, and this is pick from Violet. Ken, we have discussed this on the show, but
excellent
this is
pick.
One of the breakthrough records of the year, and not one most people, I think, go into. This is Mdu Mokhtar, Afrique Victim. Am I saying that? I don't know.
Afrique Victim, yeah, sure.
And so Violet says it's a hypnotic blues sound with dreamy desert-like instrumentals.
Yeah.
She loves the 70s classic rock influenced guitar solos. She says that's not usually her thing, but this thing is so hypnotic that it just works.
Yeah, it'll kind of put you in a trance. And it's really good stuff.
And you know when you're listening to great international music is when that voice singing in another language becomes a unique instrument and you're all there. It doesn't matter what they're saying.
And this is one of those records. I agree 100%.
And for those of you out there that are leaning towards guitar or a classic rock sensibility, you don't own a record that sounds like this.
Was there something earlier from him?
There is.
We talked about. Maybe not. I don't know. We were somewhere. No,
when this came out.
No. I think it was one of those mornings we came to do something with you guys on something, and I think you had some playing in the store, and that's the first time I heard it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm only a year in, and this is wonderful stuff.
When this is playing in the store,
yeah,
people always comment like, "What am I listening to?"
It's
that cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's finish up with two, what I think are essential Christmas records. We couldn't get through this thing without talking about a couple of Christmas records. And man, these are two greats, two soul records, two very different soul records. You have James Brown, A Soulful Christmas. And, if the cover does not sell it alone, let me tell you, the music, this is a Christmas party waiting to happen.
Well, it says it right here, Soulful Christmas. So,
I mean, one of the great Christmas records that's unique and powerful. And, a lot of times, these guys are recording these records in July.
Right,
There's no sense of real feeling about they're just trying to, it's an affectation. This record, man, you feel it. It is.
Santa's got a brand new bag.
Solid. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Hang on. From the comments, Jeff Hines again.
Okay.
It's been 35 years since I owned an actual turntable. Any suggestions? Hopefully that I don't have to rob a bank to get one.
There's some good. Unfortunately, now the affordable. You don't want to buy something that's too inexpensive that you're going to have to replace soon. Unfortunately, the manufacturing isn't what it was back in our day.
Mm-hmm.
But the more mid-price Audio Technica machines that are around 300 or there's great ones from Gemini. There's great ones from we prefer the U-Turn here at the store. Those are great audiophile turntables. And a good turntable is going to set you back $350. Unfortunately, right now there's almost no Bluetooth turntables because of the microprocessor thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can buy an all-in-one plug-and-play thing that sounds pretty great with computer monitor speakers.
Wow.
And,
okay, there you go.
There you go,
Jeff. Get your turntables, huh?
And this is one of my favorite Christmas records of all time. And this is if James Brown is Heart's Full, this is the Temptations Christmas card. This is, and you always hear that. A couple of tracks from there on. I'm going back, but it always reminds me of Soul Station down the road that they would always just play tracks from that. It's terrific. It's moody, chill, soulful, great record. Temptations, one of the greatest bands of all time, and this record is one of the greatest Christmas records.
I'm not a big Christmas music guy. But my favorite Christmas song is on here, Silver Bells.
Silver Bells, all right.
That's my tune. Don't care for a whole lot else.
No. Silver Bells.
Silver Bells.
Any insight as to why you connect with Silver Bells? No? All right.
I like the,
that's the thing about music.
I like the chord progression. I don't know.
You hear it and you some catches your ear and drags you 50 feet.
Yes. All right, so we have come to the end of another show. I want to thank everybody for jumping in on and your comments. Thank you for that. We're going to get out of here because Quinn's got customers lined up that need his expert attention. So you guys know what to do. 12:30 next Thursday, the drop. We'll see you guys again. And you can always come down here, Cactus Records, and wear your mask. And if it's suggested, right?
It's highly recommended.
Highly
if
recommended.
You're not vaccinated, but
highly recommended.
But we all are, and we wear a mask to make you feel better about your experience.
Yeah. But if you haven't been, you need to come down. It's a treasure trove of musical goodies.
You got a mountain of stuff.
You guys got a mountain of stuff, and everybody here knows what they're talking about. All right, guys, that does it for us. Peace. See you next week.